friends, it's Kara with Power to the Flower. Today I would like to talk to you about self-watering containers. Self-watering containers are a gardener's friend in my opinion because they help us when we forget to water our containers. I have tried a variety and I thought I would talk to you and show you the ones that I think are really great. And I've also been doing my research and I'd like to create one of my own, and then we'll follow over the next weeks and months and see how the plants do inside of it. So I thought it would be fun if you guys came along with me for this little ride. This is called the Kyle Moore Urn, and it is from Gardner Supply, which is gardners.com. I love it. I have 4 of them, and I think they're really, really, really fabulous containers. Fabulous containers. They've kept all my plants alive and going strong for months and months. When I forget to water, or I can go now about a week, now that the plants are established, I can go a week or more without watering and they're totally fine. But the way that it works is that they send you the urn and they send you this insert, which you can also buy separately and put inside any pot that you already own. All right, so let me show you how the Gardner Supply self-watering containers work. This is the large size. I think it costs about $25, and the small size costs about $20. Whereas the urn, I think altogether was maybe around $65. Kind of forget, but you can just check it out online. So here is a planter that I have, and what you would do is you would take this reservoir, which is going to keep all the water in the planter, put that in first on the bottom, and then this is going to separate out the dirt from the water. But it's porous, or open, so what happens is the roots are going to come down into the bottom of the reservoir and they'll be able to drink whenever they need to. So that's kind of the way that it works. So it's going to look like this. And then you can, if you want to, use this little insert, which goes in one of these holes. And I do have this set up in all of my urns because instead of putting water over the entire planter, you can just directly use this tubing so the water doesn't get all over your plants. In my case with the coleus, the water does stain the coleus leaves. Also, now that I have little lights set up with batteries, I don't really want water getting onto the dirt where the batteries are sitting, so I can just fill up the reservoir via this route. The last piece they send you is one of these. It just is a cork with a little straw, which you cut to fit inside of your pipe here, about 2 inches below the top. So what happens is when the reservoir is full, this thing is floating in the water, and the top of the straw is at the top of your little piping here. Once it starts to sink down, you can just have a little look and see, oh, the water's gone, so you can fill it up. So they've kind of thought of everything. So that is one definite great option if you want to use it. So the other thing that I thought we would try today is making our own. Oh, one thing I didn't mention. With all of the self-watering pots, you need to have a little hole so that the extra water can get out. Meaning, once the reservoir fills up to the top, any extra water is going to escape, making it impossible for you to overwater your plants. In the urns, maybe you can see, they have a hole drilled into the urns. With your own pots, most pots have a hole on the underside, but if they don't, you need to make sure that you have one if you're using the Gardner Supply inserts. In our case, we are actually starting off with a pot that doesn't have one on purpose because we are going to drill one in the side. So we're going to start with that. Okay, so the items that we're going to require are a watertight pot, some gravel, some sand. I just used play sand from Home Depot. This was $5. This was, I think, $3.50 for some river pebbles. You could also use lava rock. Some potting soil, and we're going to be planting, so I have my starter fertilizer and a drill. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use the drill or if I'm just going to use this Husky knife to make a hole. We want to have about 2 inches above. You could get your ruler out. I'm just going to eyeball it and make this is our overflow drainage hole about 2 inches above. So I think I'm going to start with this, and let's see how we go. All right, it didn't definitely cut into a cross, so this is an experiment. So I'm kind of cutting a rectangular shape because that's what happened naturally. All right, so there we go. There is going to be our drainage hole. You can see inside. All right, so I didn't have to use a drill. A little box knife is fine. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our sand in. Our sand. Okie dokie. So this is actually try number 2 because I forgot a key ingredient. We need to add water to our sand, so it's kind of like a sand castle. You know, when we flip over this cup, it's going to stay in a shape and not just become one with the rocks. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to add enough water so that it penetrates the whole sandy situation here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is place it on the bottom of my container, and now I'm going to put the rocks around.
Can I see what you project?
Yeah. Do you want to put the rocks in?
Yeah.
Do you want to put the rocks in? Here.
Do I have to wear these?
I would.
Why?
Why not?
Now can you take the video of me?
All right, so there's our sand, and the water will sit up to the top of these rocks. Any excess will drain out the drainage hole right there, and the sand is going to wick the water up through the potting soil. So next up we need some potting soil, but we need to make sure that the potting soil is a bit wet to do the wicking. So let's get that ready. Actually, I'm gonna add a few more rocks in front of the drainage hole so that dirt doesn't flow out of it. So here's the drainage hole right here, and I just put a few extra rocks in front of it. Nothing too scientific. Grab your hands and put some dirt in there. Okay, so we have some dirt in our bucket. It's about up to there. I'm gonna pour some water in so it's moist, and Noah's gonna mix it up. Mix? Can you mix?
How do I do that?
Just stick your hands in and mix all around. All right, so now what I'm going to do is dump this wet dirt into.
And make sure you don't get it on the cup.
No, I am getting it on the sand for sure. I'll show you. So I'm going to fill up the entire pot with dirt. Can I use those gloves, Noah? All right, so I just have enough soil in there to cover the sand and the rocks, and now I'm going to add a little bit more, but I'm not going to worry so much that it's not moist, because when I water the whole thing I will get it all wet. So in the Gardner supply version, they have the little side tubes that you can pour water into the reservoir. In our version, we do not have that. We could add that, by getting a piece of pipe and putting that into the rocks, but I decided I don't really need that. All right, so I've now filled this all the way up to the top, and let's see what happens when we add water. So this is great. We have moist but not soggy soil, and we have excess water dripping out. Oh, and Noah's gonna catch it. So we've now finished our wicking project, and I'm going to be planting this up with a few fall flowers and some ornamental chilies. Done, and I think this turned out really nicely. I love the pumpkins and the little pine cone addition. We'll probably be doing another one of these, meaning I'll make another self-watering container and flank the front of our house, and I'll be showing you how it goes as it goes. All right, looking forward to creating with you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a comment and or share on Facebook and Instagram. All right, thanks so much. See you soon.